Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play EVE Online. In the last episode, we finished the epic arc! This episode, we're just gonna do some standard missioning. As you'll be able to tell, I've been a little busy. Been trying to get as close to level 3s as possible. We're at about 2.5 at the moment. With this agent, we're actually at 2.6. It's like 5.5, somewhere around there. So, we're gonna just do a few missions here. Here we have Damsel in Distress. It's gotten my attention that one of our employees' daughters has gone missing. She was last spotted in a disreputable nightclub in Berta's Spot. We're afraid she's being forced into slave labor or even prostitution. We request that you find her immediately and bring her safe and sound back to her family. Give her the coordinates of the nightclub. I believe it's called Cruel's Pleasure Hub. I expect you to take care of the rest. Good luck. Okay, we'll take that one. And we're also going to grab this. After the 7. This can't hurt to do this. I enjoy the tremendous service Capsulators provide. Agents like me can't begin to count the many times I've been let down over the years by lacking proper skill, judgment, diligence, or rudimentary attention span. What are you talking about? It seems the last few I hired to provide me an armed escort for a convoy of civilian transports has gone missing. Probably lured away by a more lucrative job. You head to Samela system and meet up with the convoy at once. If they're in any kind of trouble when you arrive, please take care of it. Well, where that mission takes place here, we're going to do it first. So we are off in Samela. It's just generally a good place to go for grinding up your Sisters of Eve missions, because there is a level 1, 2, and 3 agent here. As you can tell, it's quite popular. I don't quite know why people would be using battleships here, but whatever floats their boat. So you notice we're back in the Punisher. I was trying to use the Corsair, but it just wasn't working well. It just doesn't have the speed. And a lot of level 1s and 2s have you moving around a lot. It's honestly a bit ridiculous. Like right here, there's 66 kilometers away. We can still only unlock 4 ships. I just knew I'd end up killing that one before it became any danger. Oh, hey, those ones left. Convenient. So looks like we don't actually have to fly all the way over there. Switch to ultraviolet. Keep pounding away at these. The mission like this is nice. What ship is this, anyway? Oh, it's a yacht. Okay. Just looked a little weird. Little missions like this one aren't bad. Nice, quick, easy over. We're not going to bother looting these sites, because, well, there's 3 here that actually have, anything in them. Other than that, it's not really worth our time to loot those. So now we're going to head over to Berta's Spot, which is a decently long jump. Going from the station to this gate is, well, quite far. This is a dead-end system, so also makes it kind of nice. Means if you ever have to leave the system, it'll always be out this gate. I quite like mission hubs that are like that. And now we're going to go do Damsel in Distress. I just hope we can handle Damsel in Distress. I'll turn my repper on here. I apologize for typing, but I need to see this. Because there's a good chance we might not actually be able to do this mission just based off our raw HP. And you'll understand why in a minute. Oh, let's start working on these frigates. Oh, I actually don't think, okay. We're not gonna have to worry about it here. In the level 4 variant of this mission anyway, the, building you have to blow up, in this one it's this, deals a lot of damage. I think it's like 8,000 explosive. I don't think it's that high, but it's pretty high. It's like 4,000. Somewhere in that range. And if that dealt anywhere close to that, we couldn't do it. You always want to shoot Cruel last in every one of these missions. Killing him or shooting him will often trigger another spawn-in. So you want to take out all of his help first. If you're not running a fit that you know for sure can tank all the damage. And if you just think you can tank all the damage, don't risk it. Risking it when you don't know if you can tank the damage is how you lose ships. It's why I tend to over-tank everything I use. I am sure I can take the damage. I think with level 2, yeah, here we go. Here's his support. Which are mercenary elite fighters. Which, as you could tell, are dealing a fair little chunk of damage. And there is a lot of them. They actually seem to be almost overpowering our rep, which isn't really good for our health. I could probably actually mitigate a bit more damage just by turning on the afterburner, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, there we go. I've mitigated a little more. It's going to be a lot harder for us to apply damage, but the faster you're going, the less missiles hurt. I don't know why it works like that, it just does. Well, I kind of know why. It's the missile explosion velocity. You're basically outrunning the explosion. Or at least more of the explosion. That one's almost dead. You know, we are having a harder time hitting them as well. Doing this kind of thing is a double-edged sword. It's much better if you're firing missiles yourself. That way your speed isn't impacting your own weapons at all. It's why a lot of Caldari ships will end up kiting a lot. It's because they're actually fit up to kite. Now, I might as well take this time to announce something. In a coming update, for any of you out there who are still considering playing Eve, CCP, the developers of the game, are going to be increasing the skill cap for alpha clones. Now, there is a catch to this. You will be able to hold up to 20 million skill points, and use those 20 million skill points, and it'll be specific things that you'll be able to keep. Now the catch is you have to be subscribed to train more than what an alpha clone can train now. So you'll have to have been subscribed at least once or use a skill injector. I believe, though, you might just be capped at training to 5 million skill points, which wouldn't be the worst. But another bonus to these changes is you'll be able to train any faction. Or at least be able to keep the skills from training any faction. So if I were to subscribe this account, which would technically mean the series is over, but, for example, if I were to subscribe this account, I could train Galante frigates. And transfer over my armor tanking skills to the Galante frigates. Which, as you could imagine, would be quite helpful. I think Cruel is the only NPC I'm gonna actually loot. Where is his wreck? There it is. Where's the pleasure up? There it is. Now let's just start shooting it. Yeah, we actually got a decent little chunk of loot out of that. And unlike the level 4, the damsel is not just put right in my cargo. Kind of sad about that. Hey, some marines. Now we just head back to Samala.
Warp drive active.
And then we can turn in both missions. Yeah, I am quite excited for the Alpha Clone changes. Because it's going to mean that you're not going to get punished as an Alpha Clone if you've only been able to subscribe once. Because then you're going to lose whatever you trained. Because in a month, you're not going to make it to capital ships, which you won't be able to fly. It's another thing I should note. You'll be able to fly up to battleships. So, you know, you see these shiny things, you'll be able to fly them. Which currently, as you can tell, you can't without being Omega. So that is very handy. I honestly was just caught off guard by that. After the change, I might let my main account fall into Alpha, just to show you guys, what it looks like as the new Alpha. Because I undoubtedly have basically every skill already trained that it would, you know, limit you to. So, I mean, what I haven't been playing for like 5 years. I know saying that I can't really say I'm a bitter vet anymore, but it's good enough. Let's complete this mission. There's a decent little standings increase. Complete this mission. Request a new one from him. Gone Berserk. It's also in Bird Spot. That's pretty cool. It's a rather long mission. This guy will have another one for us right away, which is also in Samala. I forgot to read the other one's mission description. The 7, I was hoping it wasn't that particular gang again. While we are very grateful you managed to prevent most of the civilians from being kidnapped, there's still an issue of the ones that were taken. When they warped away from the last encounter, we were able to track them down and obtain the coordinates of that hideout. I'm prepared to grant you the authority on behalf of the Sisters of Eve to hunt down these criminals. What do you say? Are you willing to help? Yes, I am. You should depart at once and catch them before they move to a different facility. One thing I'm going to note is this. I actually got that out of a mission wreck. Well, it was a wreck of a thing in... Oh, gods. Trying to think of the mission. I can't think of the mission name. I don't have the page still open, but it's a possible drop from a level 2 mission. It's a little box. If you're just using Eve Survival, which if I remember right, I'll link in the description, it'll tell you when stuff like that is a possible drop. Now, that isn't a guaranteed drop, so don't be sad if you don't get it. I'll warp off and do, after the 7, 2 of 5. I'm getting decent little chunks of standing boosts here, which is kind of nice. Well, this is a level 1 mission. I imagine these are probably the only 2 rats here. Let's just start killing them. Oh, they have sensor dampeners. That's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. Hate sensor dampeners. As you can tell, a sensor dampener makes you unable to walk as far or as quickly, which is kind of annoying. Hey, there's actually more than just those two. I'm impressed. You get to hear all the beepings. I actually have this sound set to a point where you might actually be able to hear the game for once. I could always hear it in editing, but that's because I wear headphones to edit. So I tend to hear things that usually aren't audible to speakers, which teaches me I should probably edit using my speakers. I accidentally flipped distance. Did not mean to do that. Keep crushing these things. I was going to continue doing the Amara Empire missions. And missions for the Amara Empire. And you might actually be wondering why, you know, I'm doing Sisters of Eve instead of that. And it's simply just because Sisters of Eve pay better. We're getting better pay and better loyalty points for doing the Sisters of Eve missions. Gonna loot this wreck because no, it's not really got anything of value in it. So, 2 birds of spots. Well, basically, we're just gonna get to our goal faster running with the Sisters of Eve. Now, this episode might actually run a little long looking at the recording time. Because, well, the Gone Berserk is kind of a long mission. Well, it's not normally, but the level 2 variant is a long mission. Like, it is very long. And also, just note, we're back up to 31 million. With that implant, we're up to about 42 mil. So, we're actually making pretty good progress. Given at this moment, aside from the Gnosis and the Sunisis, we could basically buy every ship that we might want to fly. At least I think the Omen Navy issue isn't that expensive at the moment. It might be. Wait, no, we can't afford Navy ships yet, I don't think. Yeah, no. See, Agora Navy issue is 63, Omen Navy issue is 80. So yeah, we can't afford those yet. And those are just estimated prices, so they're probably not even quite close. We can fly everything not Navy in Cruiser. We could probably actually buy a Navy frigate, which might be worth our time. I'll check into that at some point between this episode and the next one. But, yeah. This mission isn't hard. It's just kind of time-consuming. I'm going to show you basically how I get through it, and this might not even be the quickest way of doing it. This would be faster if I brought the Omen over. If you're using a cruiser for 2s, this isn't much of an issue. I mean, you might have to move a little bit, but for the most part, you're not really going to have to move. Switch to Ultraviolet, keep pecking away at these guys. Killing this group will spawn another group. I forget exactly which one is the trigger group, and it's been so long since I did level 2s. I could probably look it up and get through it a lot faster. My general advice is just blitz through these types of missions. It's not really worth your time to kill everything. And right there, that other spawn just appeared like 60 kilometers away, all the way over there. This is not a mission I like having this early. The EOM do have really nice skins to them. Like, I kind of wish we had their skin over the one we have. It's basically blue where ours is silver. And silver where ours is blue. It's about the only difference. But I still like it more. Because I'm weird. And actually, if you look into... for anyone who's actually interested in the lore, look into the EOM. They are an interesting group. I find myself liking them a lot, as much as they're not really a faction you're supposed to like. I'm gonna miss, but the second shot should, yeah. Turn off the afterburner so we don't fully overshoot these guys. It also helps us with our transversal and angular. Yeah, I really don't have much left to say about this mission. There's really not a whole lot to it. It's just fly around, kill the spawn of 2 frigates, fly around, kill another spawn of 2 frigates. There's a lot of frigates, like we've already downed a fair few. And there's another spawn of 2. Let's just approach the succubus. This station kind of gets in the way a bit. It's an elemental base. Swap to infrared, because we'll still be able to actually reach them with that. We don't actually use our infrared that often, but it's still a decently fine crystal. It's generally what you're supposed to use as the transition between, so... Basically go radio, infrared, ultraviolet, then multi. You can also use standard in place of infrared, but I just prefer using... the infrared, and then ultraviolet, of course. Right now we can mostly just putter along at a rather slow speed. It's convenient that we're actually going a rather slow speed. Let's just set our speed to 97. I mean, we're taking a fair little bit of damage. Mostly because we've mostly stopped moving. Okay, where is whatever we're shooting at? Okay, it's beneath us. Whew. Just trying to think of conversation points to make. There really isn't any to make. Oh, there's one EOM priest. At the very end of the chain of spawns, an EOM priest will spawn, which is a cruiser. And once again, looks pretty cool. I like the EOM ships. Yeah, that's a good look at its colors. you notice we're only really there on one spawn so far? Let's just start approaching him. And also, EOM use missiles and railguns. They're basically the Caldari as far as weapons go, which isn't really what you'd expect from something like this, given it's an Amara ship. It also doesn't really fire its missile that often. There it goes. Actually, let's just radio them, because I don't know if I'm exactly stuck or not. I don't appear to be. Infrared. Ultraviolet. It's a general way to maximize your damage as you're approaching something. As this priest is pretty far away, so we don't really... There's another one at 80. These are ridiculously far apart. Like, jeez. Whoop. That is the one problem with doing this. You'll sometimes not get the reload because, well, you tried to fire too quickly afterwards, and the game doesn't like that. So, just gotta pop back to our ship, which is way up here now. And we still have 2 more frigates to deal with. So let's actually... No, let's go after the frigates. I don't even know where they are. Oh, hey, they're way over there. See, this is why I do not like this mission this early. Later on, once you've got a bigger ship with more range, a higher max lock range, it's fine. This mission is totally fine. But until you get that, it's not fine at all. It's quite terrible, actually. And we just shot past this one. Just keeps transversal really low. And finally, we're down to just those ones. It's just the priests now. Which honestly aren't that much problem. You might think that they're going to be a bit of an issue because we're just a frigate against 3 cruisers. But the fact that they're firing medium guns and their missiles, as you can tell, don't hurt at all, that kind of saves us. I should probably lock them. That might be a good idea. I'm not out of it. You're out of it. Oop, not radio, multi. As we get in this close, I'm just going to turn off the afterburner. Because, as you can tell, they can't hit us. Their missiles can. I suppose right there, there's glanced off with a few shots. Anything that's, like, grazes or glances off is their guns. The just hits is their missiles. put that one at 5k. Use radio as we go in. Just for a little bit of damage. Just gonna switch right to ultraviolet because by the time we got a cycle off with the infrared, it would have been a little too late. Get one last cycle of the infrared. Switch to multi. And pick away at this cruiser. We actually still have shields. That is how little of a threat this mission actually is. So anyone who tries to tell you, like, level 2s you should have a cruiser for, don't believe them. Just find a good fit for your frigate. Now, that is easier with Caldari and Amar. I will fully admit that. It is much easier to do what I'm doing with the Amar or Caldari, because both factions have a ship that has a bonus to its resists. And resists is kind of what you want more than just base rep power. Because at the moment, we have a really good resist profile. We're taking, at the most, 43% of the damage that's coming in. At best, we're, at worst, we're only reducing the damage by 43%. I'll say it right. At best, we're reducing it by 65%, and if our armor does break, we still have the hull to fall back on. Now, the Caldari have an equivalent to this in their frigate of the Merlin. Damage and shield resistances. It only has 3 turrets. I'm just going to quickly throw together what I would suggest people do with a Merlin. Simple. Resist. Okay, we're done here. So let's head back to Samala.
Warp drive active.
Almost forgot. You'll probably want a small shield booster. I think they all use the same cap, so just that. Monopropellant afterburner. Cap recharger. Keep in mind, these stats you're seeing are from my Amar character. Well, my Amar Alpha, so it'll probably work for you as well.
Warp drive active.
Alright, quickly add three scout railguns, which again hurt the capacitor a bit, but once you add that on, you're now stable. Throw on your damage mods, and even without any skills, that's still a bit of damage. With actually skills into Caldari, you will have a lot more damage. You'll have about the same as my Punisher has for damage output, with actually a bit better range and a bit better HP per second, because you also have your passive too. Little worse resists, but once again, we only have level 1. This is assuming level 1 Caldari frigate. This is better if you have 3 or 4 into Caldari frigate. Let's turn in these missions. And with that, that's actually going to be the end of today's episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time for more Let's Play EVE Online. See you all then.